Find a comfortable place where you will not be disturbed for the duration of your journey. Take a full, deep breath in and just start to let your eyes drift closed. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Notice the space in between each inhale and exhale, and then allow yourself to continue to breathe naturally. Your whole body becomes heavy, open, and fully relaxed. You are now floating down through the clouds. You start to release any stresses, fears, worries, and expectations. You land softly in a patch of grass sprinkled with wildflowers. There are colors everywhere. Soft pinks and yellows, bold reds and oranges. The sky is a brilliant blue dotted with wispy clouds. The sun shines sparkling beams of light through the clouds. There is a soft breeze that rustles the tops of brightly colored trees with twisty trunks, and it blows a few leaves in your direction. The time seems to be early morning, and birds and small creatures are starting to wake up. A few yards in front of you is a bridge that crosses over crystal clear water. You stand and start to approach it. Green lily pads glide by quiet and serene as they lazily round the corners of large rocks and float back the way they came. You bend down and touch the water, and it sparkles under the sun that's starting to shine a little brighter. You hear the sounds of frogs ribbiting and making tiny splashes as they jump in and out of the water. Another warm breeze blows over your skin, and you decide to start making your way across the wooden bridge and onto the stone path ahead. The air smells fresh and new, and the warmth of the sun is getting stronger even through the dense trees. As you continue to walk, you hear footsteps behind you. You turn to see two tall men in red robes, each carrying a staff, walking gracefully towards you. As they get closer, you can see a crest on the front of their robes, and the tops of each staff have a small, blue, glowing crystal. You see the pointed tips of their ears and long, pale hair. They each have peaceful expressions on their faces, eyes shimmering, and they appear to be whispering to each other in a language unknown to you. They don't acknowledge you, but just continue on. In a short moment, two more pairs cross your path and continue on in the direction of the others. You decide to follow. The stone path is slightly windy, and every couple of yards are towering branches with hooks on the ends. There rests lanterns with circling, glowing magic. Aside from the whisperings of the elves and some wildlife, all you hear are their footpads against the stones. You feel comfortable around them even though they are not speaking directly to you. You're starting to approach a very large building. There is a courtyard out front with a small pond bordered by large stones. There are small waterfalls slipping down between the rocks within the pond. There are a few small benches perched around the area, and you decide to take a moment of pause, absorbing all of the wonder of this beautiful place that you've only remembered seeing in lore books. As you are standing and watching all that surrounds you, wondering how all of this came to be, one of the elves approaches you and softly places her hand on your shoulder. You turn and she smiles at you. Her hair is dark, her eyes a shining purple. She's carrying a tome in the crook of her arm and motions to follow her. She is guiding you to the grand structure you had seen before stopping at the pond. Statues of elves dancing, ribbons swinging from tall poles, banners displaying the sigil of these ancient people hanging proudly from pillars. All of this leads up to the entrance to this magnificent city. You pass through the entrance of this gate into a massive hall and continue along the marbled path bordered in gold and burgundy tiles. You walk through another large hall and continue down wide steps and through a sheer sapphire sparkling curtain. You appear to have arrived at an inn. There are elves wandering all about. A fire crackles in the fireplace across the room. There are tables full of amazing food and drink, walls lined with bookcases filled to the brim with books, some new, some old, yellowed and tattered. Lavish rugs decorate the floors, and you decide to slip your shoes off and sink into the plush fabrics. A wood stove sits in the corner, and you watch as another elf takes some bread out and places it among all the other food, and then starts diligently working on the next batch. There are a trio of elves in the corner playing harps, creating ambient music. Instead of chairs, there are large cushioned loungers encased in velvety fabrics, with canopies draping overhead. Paper lanterns of all shapes and sizes, and string lights casting soft white light are hung all around this inn. There is laughing, talking, and overall merriment, and some of them gaze at you with kind curiousness. You feel welcome and fully at peace. The elf that guided you here gestures to a table and motions for you to sit. She goes to the bookcase and pulls down 3 very large volumes and places them in front of you. You can see that these books are very old, and some of the binding is cracked, and the pages inside are made entirely of parchment. The words and images depicted in these books are magnificent, intricately scrawled with a quill pen and ink. Massive drawings of rune stones, swirling pools of marvelous wells, letters marked with official sealing wax, and many sketches of elves creating magic right in the palms of their hands. Stories of rulers, the inception of magic and friendships caption these etchings. You have been brought into this world, invited in to receive the knowledge of the elves, who they are and where they came from. You continue to dive into these ancient books, fascinated by all the wisdom they possess, as you are offered refreshments and comfort. Legends and fables swim around in your head as you continue to learn and as your fingers glide across the parchments. You wonder if there are more adventures and journeys awaiting you out there, places you have yet to visit, people you have to meet. Deep down, you know that these quests are right around the corner. You start to yawn and wonder how long you have been sitting here among these kind folk, and you feel the heaviness of your eyelids. The elf that brought you to this wonderful place guides you to a longer cushioned lounger, and you immediately lie down. You are covered with the softest blanket that you have ever felt, and between the warm crackling of the fire, light conversation, and the soft music of the harps, you start to let sleep carry you away.